to know if you're even sorry. Are you sorry for what you did?
Your mom was sleeping?
Yeah, she was sleeping.
Exactly did you cut her?
At first, I cut her right here.
Else to her, or did she say anything to you or no?
No, she just screamed.
She just screamed.
Yes.
Days with blood. There was so much blood. It was all over.
This is Martice Fuller, who is facing multiple charges, including murder in Wisconsin. Reports suggest that in 2019, 15-year-old Fuller fatally shot his ex-girlfriend Kaylie Juga and injured her mother, Stephanie, at their home in Kenosha. CCTV footage shows Fuller hopping over a fence, entering the Juga family garage, and opening fire. Minutes later, he was seen running out and riding a bike away from the crime scene. Fuller was arrested and charged with murder, attempted murder, and armed burglary. At a probable cause hearing, the investigating detective took the stand.
There were 4 gunshot wounds to Kaylie's chest, 1 gunshot wound to her head. The cause of death was from multiple gunshot wounds.
The prosecutor argued that Fuller's actions were deliberate and planned.
He already has a bike that is his bike that's stashed at that location. He brings with him, we believe, a change of clothes.
He also said there was a pattern of disturbing behavior. Fuller regularly stalked the victim prior to the shooting. A friend of Kaylie testified that even after she broke up with Fuller, he kept trying to meet her.
Outside because I was afraid of him hurting her. I begged her to wake up her parents. She wasn't going to, but eventually she did.
Kaylie's boss said she lived in constant fear of Fuller. She also quit her job due to regular harassment. Then, Stephanie took the stand and recounted the night her daughter was murdered.
I heard a shot. I stopped in my doorway and I looked at him and I said, "Oh my God, Martice." I said, "Please, you don't have to do this." And he looked at me and he said, "Yes, I do."
Is that a bag you recognize?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's the one that had the gun in it?
Yes. Yeah.
And is that the actual bag that you were handed by Martice?
Yes.
Eventually, Fuller was found guilty of all charges.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree intentional homicide.
This is when he completely broke down. Stephanie remembered her daughter in her victim impact statement.
She was always by my side and she was my biggest cheerleader. Now I'm lost. I just feel so lost without her.
Fuller didn't address the court directly. Instead, his attorney read out a written statement.
I am not the person the media has made me out to be. Despite the hatred that is against me, I still am sorry.
However, the judge was having none of it.
I don't have any ability to trust that you will never commit these acts. You are a very dangerous and a damaged human being.
Finally, it was time for Fuller to know his fate. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
The court orders that on count 1, you are sentenced to life in prison without eligibility for extended supervision. On count 2, the court is ordering 15 years in prison, followed by 6 years of extended supervision, consecutive to count 1. And on count 3, the court orders 5 years of initial confinement and 3 years of extended supervision. Count 2 and 3 are concurrent with each other.
This is Ethan Crumbley, a mass shooting suspect facing multiple charges in Michigan.
We are all here because of me. I could not stop myself. I am a really bad person.
On November 30th, 2021, 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley opened fire at his Oxford high school, fatally injuring several students and teachers.
Teenager accused of killing 4 students at a Michigan high school will be in prison for life without parole.
Ethan reportedly used his father's 9mm handgun, who called 911 once he found the gun missing within minutes. First responders arrived at the scene and evacuated everyone to safety.
Sheriff's office! Yeah, we're here. We're not willing to take that risk right now. I can't hear you. We're not taking that risk right now. Okay, well, come to the door and look at my bag, bro.
No. Yeah, bro.
He said bro.
Tragically, it was too late for 3 students who died at the scene and a fourth succumbed to his injuries later at the hospital. Ethan was arrested shortly after the shooting.
I know she's stuck. Please stop it. Please stop it. Stop it. What I heard you stop it. I didn't stop it. I didn't stop it. I know she's stuck. Please stop it. Please stop it. Please stop it. Please stop it. Why didn't you stop it, God? Why didn't you stop it? Stop it, God.
His parents were called to the station, where they confronted him. Ethan's only concern was his cat, Dexter. Apparently named after a psychopathic TV character, his parents were shocked at their son's lack of remorse. Ethan was charged with first-degree murder and terrorism. In court, the prosecutor laid out the seriousness of the case.
But everyone else is here in this courtroom today because this defendant made the decision to kill 4 other people and to take their lives instead of his own.
Ethan's chilling journal and text messages were presented as evidence. It contained a list of things he needed for the shooting, including pistol mags, a mask, and a knife. His desires for the shooting were written in graphic detail.
So in the margin there, it says, "I wonder what life in prison will be like."
And then throughout this page, the defendant writes a list of items. It appears that he plans to take on November 30th.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
It says 1 9mm pistol, extra mags. And then to the right it says half-blood, and the word underneath that it says fuck. And then 2 to 5 Molotov cocktails. 1 to 3 powdered, I believe it's NOS flares. Pair of gloves. A hat, jacket, mask, knife.
Ethan wrote that he wanted his victims' parents to suffer.
I want for the parents to see their kids burn to ash and bawl their eyes out.
He also mentioned a failed plan of kidnapping and murdering a girl next door.
I started making a plan. It was a plan to kidnap and kill her. I talked to find out where she lives and found out she lives a 5-minute walk away from me. I made this plan to break in the BR bedroom at night and kidnap her with an industrial-sized garbage bag.
A week before the shooting, Ethan did a bunch of Google searches about prison sentences in Michigan.
He Google searched, what is the worst prison sentence you can get in Michigan?
What about item 9?
He wrote, what is a life sentence for a 15-year-old?
That's what he actually searched on his phone in Google?
Yes, that's what he entered, correct.
And this was 1 week before the shooting?
Yes.
What about item 11?
What is the sentence for a 15 to life?
1 day before the incident, he recorded his thoughts and plans for the shooting.
Walk to the dividend between the boys and the girls' bathroom. I will have my bike jacket on, and I will walk beyond someone, and I will shoot a bullet in their school. I'm going to open fire on everyone in that hallway. The hallways are too jam-packed. I want to try and hit as many people as I can. I will reload, and I will find people hiding. I'm going to teach them a lesson of how they're wrong.
Ethan went on to say how he couldn't get the idea of killing people out of his mind.
I thought about this a lot. I can't stop thinking about it.
His school principal took to the stand, where she recounted how she desperately tried to save one of the victims.
It was crushing, and I had to help him. I just needed to save him for his mom, that I needed him to hang with me. I could taste his blood. There was so much blood. It was all over me.
Ethan initially pleaded not guilty on the grounds of insanity. He had several chaotic meltdowns while in custody.
Why did you stop it? Why did you stop it? I know she's stuck. Please stop it. 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 Why didn't you stop it?
One time he asked for help. The other time he kept yelling, "Oh God, why didn't you stop it? And I'm sorry."
Why didn't you stop it, God? Why didn't you stop it? Why didn't you stop it?
A mental health expert said Ethan had a psychosis episode and deemed him mentally ill.
Someone who's saying, God, why didn't you stop it? And that's exactly how psychosis works. You engage in an action and somehow you don't understand the outcome of the consequences. He's having a panic attack and a break with reality.
A school senior also said that Ethan was often bullied and picked on.
He was like, it's a shooting at the Oxford High School, and I was like, nah, this is a joke. He was like, no, bro, this is serious.
Do you know any of the students? Do you know who this 15-year-old is who did the shooting?
No, I do not know who he is, but I have seen him around the school, and he's a kid, you know, he's a regular kid that goes to school, you know. He's been picked on and stuff like this, so when a kid has been picked on and stuff, people's bullying him, you're gonna get this. You're gonna get this reaction.
However, Ethan later confessed and pleaded guilty to all charges.
Is it true that your actions on November the 30th, 2021 caused the deaths of Madison Baldwin, Tate Muir, Hannah St. Juliana, and Justin Schilling?
Yes.
During sentencing, families of the victims addressed the guy who killed their loved ones.
As I don't wish death upon you, that would be too easy. I hope the thoughts consume you and they replay over and over in your head.
While the mother of one victim wished for a worse punishment than death, the father of another asked the judge to sentence him to life.
His blatant lack of human decency and disturbing thoughts on life in general do not in any way warrant a second chance. My son doesn't get a second chance, and neither should he. I'd really like an opportunity to physically show him how much pain he has caused me and my family. But in a civilized society, governed by complex laws such as ours, this type of display is not permitted. But you can rest assured, you piece of shit, that baby bird screams will pale in comparison to the screams that you would exude if I were only able to show you.
The remorseful Ethan spoke to the victims' families and apologized for the pain he caused them.
My actions were because of what I chose to do. I could not stop myself. I am a really bad person. I really am sorry for what I've done, for what I've taken of them. I cannot give it back, but I can try my best in the future to help other people, and that is what I would do.
Now it was time to learn his fate.
Since the court is to finish, he'll serve the rest of his life without the possibility of parole with the Michigan Department of Corrections, credit for 8 days served.
Ethan Crumbley was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 24 years. Later, his parents, Jennifer and James Crumbley, were charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Is it true that you asked him to buy the firearm?
Yes.
Is it true that you gave him your own money to buy the firearm?
Yes.
Just days before the shooting, the parents fled after the incident and were arrested while hiding in a friend's shop. Both were convicted in separate trials. This was the first time in American history that a parent was criminally charged for a mass school shooting committed by their child. While Ethan will spend the rest of his life in prison for shooting up his school, his parents face the consequences of their actions as well.